All right. Dr. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Now I would leave the floor. I would want to introduce you. Good evening, members. Engineer, or rather, Dr. Wasonga is with us tonight, and we had requested to have this session so that he can give us the status of the union and the status of the CBA. So I would leave this floor for him to give us that in the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes or so. Thereafter, members will, is Linda here? Linda will be trying to help us in asking those questions that were raised in Telegram. So, Daktari, the floor is yours. Everybody kindly mute your mics if you're not talking for the next 10 minutes. Your mic should be on mute when you join. In case you unmute it by mistake, kindly mute it back so that we don't interfere with other members listening. Otherwise, Daktari, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Engineer. Good evening, colleagues. I want to take this opportunity to thank WASU members, wherever they are, for supporting the union. I want to say that without members, there is no union. Currently, I want to say that the union is very strong because we have a solid membership behind us. As a union, we negotiated the 2017-2021 CBA, and we executed the CBA on 28th October 2019.
Daktari, start your video, please. All right.
Oh, let me begin. Thank you very much, members. I hope you enjoyed your day. I'm also here in the office, and I would be very glad to clarify any issue our esteemed members might be having. I want to say that the union is very strong because we have a solid membership. On the 28th of October 2019, we executed a CBA with our social partners with an implementation date of on or before 30th November 2019. Many members did not understand why I was saying that the CBA was to be implemented on or before 30th November 2019. As a Secretary General, I could not say any other date. That was not in the document. And that is the date that is still on the document up to now. IPCCF did not tell us why they did not implement the CBA as was executed. And as a union, we did everything, and we take the CBA for analysis. The CBA was analyzed by the Central Planning Unit and the Permanent Secretary Ministry of Labor in turn forwarded the CBA to the Employment and Labor Relations Court for registration. We were surprised on the 15th of January when we went for registration, and I want members to understand that a CBA cannot be registered before the parties agree. So when we went to court, IPCCF lawyer and SRC raised objection. And I want members to understand this. Before the PS for Labor forwards the CBA to court, he must be convinced, or he must get the letter of objection from SRC. And the letter of no objection from SRC was given to us, the union, the employer, the ministry, and IPCCF. And that letter on paragraph 2 states, IPCCF would like to confirm to the court that the CBA as assigned concurs with our beacons and all the provisions. Then they put a rider that the CBA has to be implemented using 8.8 billion. I want members to understand that the CBA we signed, we never mentioned anywhere on that CBA the figure of 8.8 billion. IPCCF executed the CBA. And because we didn't want what was happening previously, as a union, we ensured that we calculated the arrears for each and every member. And I have a very big document that contains all our members, their names, their grades, and the notches. And the figure came to 13,812,000,000 without pension component. And we did this with the guidance of SRC technical team.
Received harassment and nuisance calls as well as text messages. This is according to a recent two-caller insight report that looked at the impact of harassment calls and short messages for women between November the 22nd, 2019 and February 24th, and Brazil.
I want to say that we have been in court, and the last time we were in court, the judge gave order because SRC was saying the cost of the CBA is 8.8 billion. As we were saying, we never mentioned the figure because basically the figure is a function of the government. As what we negotiated was percentages, and the percentages, we got a range of between 23% to 25%. And if you read the beacons that were given by SRC clearly, SRC stated that the structure that they developed after job evaluation, the percentages ranged from 23% to 25%. And they also said that in addition to the salary structure that they developed after job evaluation, university employees are entitled to annual increment. And let members get it. Automatic annual increment is non-negotiable. It is the practice world over that every year members are given annual increment on their basic pay. But I want you to note that universities get annual increment. And this has been the trend that I noted when I took over office. Our members were used to getting global figure. And this started with the CBA of 2008 to 2013, where we were given 7.8 billion. The universities were using this 7.8 billion to develop the structure. It was also this 7.8 billion that they were using to load the annual increment. But we realized that later on, they asked for annual increment, which employees were not being given.
Our union.
And this annual increment,
they get it.
Hello? They get it through personal emoluments. Personal emoluments. So I want members to know that they are entitled to 4% annual increment on their basic pay. So I want to come to the status we are in now. The Honorable Judge, in our wisdom, after parties presented their case, realized that the government was saying that what they have is 8.8 billion. And SRC was also insisting that the tables that they gave were supposed to be read horizontally on a straight line. If you read those tables on a straight line, that it means that members will not get annual increment, which SRC advised in their beacons that should be loaded prior to the table. And conventionally, or as per the practice, CBS are implemented stepwise. The reason why CBS are implemented stepwise is to factor in the annual increment and progression on the notches. So we put a spirited court case in court, because if you insist that members now just move on a straight line, then what we were asking, then what is the need of the notches? Then it means you'll be stuck in one notch for 4 years without moving. But if we implement the CBA on a staircase, that is how you move from notch 1 to notch 2 to notch 3, and so on. The people who should not move are the people who have reached the bar. For example, we have notch 1 to notch 12. If you are in notch 12, you have reached the bar. So you wait until another review. Thank you very much. People want to ask question?
Dr. Just a minute. Members, kindly please, when you're turning in, when you're coming in, please, you are going in as in muted mode. Why are you turning on your mic? You're interfering with the speaker. We don't want to hear the children crying in the background, please, and your mic and your videos. Dalmas, we don't want to see you now. Members, please, the setting is such that you enter in a mute mode. So let the speaker, first of all, talk, and then you will talk. Otherwise, we'll have this thing going on, and others are saying that it's my side. My mic, I am the one who did the setting. The settings are all muted. When you come in, you're coming in a mute mode. But somebody just turns on their mic, and then we hear children crying in the background. This Chichi, Abuya, Michael, mute your mics, please. I can see everything from this side. I mute you, you come back. Let's have the speakers talk, and then we will ask the questions. You will be able to unmute your mic and talk, please.
So thank you, engineer. I want to tell members, I think I've given the background. I saw in Telegram members were asking when the money is hitting the account. And I want to say that I will not commit until we meet next week. Because first of all, if we implement the CBA on a straight line, horizontal, then I want to say that even 8.8 billion is too much. We've done the simulation and it's coming to around 6 billion. So what I was asking, where would this 3 billion go to? Two, yesterday I asked very pertinent questions. One, not all employees in our public universities are permanent and pensionable. So the assumption that SRC made that each and every university would get 20% of their allocation for pension is erroneous. Two, not all public universities pay 20% pension on basic pay. There are others who pay 20%. There are others who pay 15%. So that calculation of the pension component, we told IPCCF yesterday that it should be reworked so that we know the universities that pay 20%, the universities that pay 15%. Two, we have all the records of our members that are permanent and pensionable. There are members that are on contract that universities should pay gratuity. I'm also aware of some universities where gratuity is paid at 20%. So assuming that each and every university will get 20% is erroneous. Another thing, what we raised yesterday is that the CBA, the 8.8 billion, is meant for 3 university-based unions. That is UASU, KUSU, and KUDER. But if you see the beacons from SRC, they've even included members of the management. So yesterday I was asking them, where is the CBA for members of management? That is the deputy vice chancellors to vice chancellors. Because as we don't negotiate for members of the management, so they should not partake on this 8.8 billion. And I realized that they were surprised. But that is a fact. The WASU does not negotiate for members of the management. Another thing, what we told IPCC yesterday, that the allocation that was made by SRC were erroneous. Because if you check the amount of money that was allocated to universities, now universities are requesting for more. And what I was asking, if now they are changing the figures that they allocated to universities, why is 8.8 constant? SRC even made a mistake of allocating money to a private university. There's a Pan-African university domiciled at Jomo Kenyatta University of Science and Technology. That is a private university. And if you check the schedule, they were allocated 28 million. Another one is Koitalel University. That university, no, Gatundu University. Sorry. That university's payroll is being managed at Kenyatta University. But they were allocated money. Koitalel University, payroll is being managed from University of Nairobi. They were allocated money. So from the word go, SRC allocation was fraught with errors. But now that is water under the bridge. What we agreed yesterday is that let us use this 8.8 billion that the government is saying is available. And we want to do it as the judge advised. Consume what is available, then come and argue for the balance. And the balance is 5.2 billion. This is how this 5.2 billion comes about. It comes about when you load the annual increment. Every year, as an employee, you are entitled to 4% annual increment to cushion you on inflation. And the 4% is not constant, it is cumulative. the 4% you get this year will not be the same with the 4% you get next year, because the figure keeps on growing. And that is, I feel that is what SRC did not factor in. So when we raised this thing, I think in November, SRC wrote to the Ministry of Education and IPCF, and I have those copies here. It states that the annual increment should be sourced through the normal budget process. And the lawyer from the Ministry of Education and Attorney General Chambers said in court that they are not opposed to annual increment. So then we were asking, then what are they opposing? Because basically, if they are not opposed to annual increment, then the cost will go to 16.2 billion. But I know where the problem is. Universities usually budget for personal increments. And they have been budgeting for this throughout the year. Because I'm sure all dons from 2017, you've been getting automatic annual increment. 2018, you got automatic annual increment. So whenever universities budget, the government does not give them money as per their request. Even now you realize that they make a budget, then what they are told is that they must declare what they are getting from self-sponsored students, which vice chancellors do not want to declare. That is where the problem is. And now the numbers of SSP students are dwindling. So what we are wondering, universities make a budget, you give them less, then where do you expect them to get money to pay employees? That is, there is wisdom behind our acceptance of 8.8 billion, so that we utilize it, get whatever, get the rabbit, the small rabbit first. I want members to understand, don't think we are compromising on anything. They are saying they have 8.8 billion. I want members to pocket that first. Then I will go to court, and I have a very strong affidavit with me here. We are going to ask them, you said that the 8.8 billion is for the salary structure that they developed. Then I would now ask, where is the automatic annual increment? Which SRC said that public universities, like other public service employees, are entitled to automatic annual increment. And this automatic annual increment, SRC said, should be loaded prior to the salary structure that they developed. On the 13th of this month, I have the name with me here, SRC advised that universities should get automatic annual increment through the normal budgetary process. And the lawyer from Attorney General's Chambers that represented the Attorney General and also represented the Ministry of Education said that it was recorded that they are not opposed to annual increment. I want members to understand, we are not ceding any ground. I saw in Telegram members were asking, what is the strategy for getting automatic annual increment? That is what we are going to argue in court on 21st. And I want to say that in obiter dicta, last time, the judge asked, where is annual increment on this 8.8 billion? And our social partners could not answer because they know they have not loaded it. But since I know members are fatigued and this thing has taken long, I want to impress upon our members. Let us take this 8.8 billion, pocket it, as we argue in court for the annual increment, which I want to assure you we will get, because it is automatic. Another member I saw in Telegram asked about retirement age. My affidavit is very clear. Retirement age is not a new issue. We have been negotiating for retirement age in our local CBS. But because of that, we have various retirement age, and I want members to understand. Egerton and our constituent colleges had 2 retirement ages. Graduate assistants to senior lecturers were retiring at 65 years. Then associate professors to professors were retiring at 70 years. The same disease was passed to Kisii University and Chuka. Those were constituent colleges of Egerton. There is no any other university in Kenya that has 2 retirement ages. I only saw that when I came in, that Masinde Muliro also has 2, where graduate assistant to senior lecturers retired 70, and associate professor and professors retired 74. So what I'm saying in my affidavit, why should people, members of the same union, same employer federation, same members who serve same government, retire at different ages? I think we are unfair to this dawn at Egerton, Kisii, and Chuka, who has the same qualification and retires 10 years earlier than his colleague from KU. Because KU, the retirement age is 75. Pony University, the retirement age is 75 for all cadres of dons. While dons from Egerton, dons from Kisii, dons from Chuka University, others retired 70, others retired 65. I want members to understand that in the year 2009, the Office of the President, through Ambassador Mudaura, gave a guideline on retirement. And lecturers and the judges were exempted from the mandatory retirement age of 60. Previously, it was 55. It was increased to 60 and 65. The Honorable Judge asked them that I am aware of the Mutaura circular that exempted dons and judges from retiring at 60 years and 65. And IPCCF attorney and Ministry of Education attorney could not answer that question. 2, they were raising that there's a draft manual for public servants, which states that all public employees should retire at 65 and 60 and 65. But what I'm wondering, you can go with a draft code, a draft document, a document that has not been legislated and passed into law. So from there, I want to tell members, that is an issue that I'm sure we are going to win. 2, I have documents here for each and every member. How we calculated the CBA horizontally and diagonally. And these things we agreed. And members should know that these contentious issues that now is bringing confusion here, we agreed, and these are the minutes. I want to read a section of the minutes so that you can see that we are not just. The tables will be read vertically and horizontally during implementation, and computation of arrears starting from the year 2016-2017, and using salary scales and step as identified in A above, with the exception of step 12, which will be read vertically and horizontally. So we agreed, it is minted and signed. We haven't put it in a CBA. So we were surprised. The same SRC that guided us how to implement the CBA vertically and horizontally now is saying that we should only implement the CBA vertically. So what we're asking them, if you implement the CBA vertically only, how will you factor in the annual increment? Another thing we are asking, then what is the essence of having these notches from 1 to 12? Then it means you will remain in notch 1 for the entire CBA cycle. Another thing that I'm saying that we put in court, I filed the previous CBS, all the CBS that these unions have negotiated. And the practice has been that we implement the CBA vertically and horizontally. Even the 2013-2017 is in the bundles. The CBA was implemented vertically and horizontally. So it is not a new thing. And I want to thank Dons. You have been very patient, very patient. And I strongly believe that this is a case we are going to win. I saw Dons were asking now, it means now the union has accepted to implement the CBA vertically. Let us do this. Let us get the 8.8 billion that they are not disputing. From where I come from, we say, get what you are given and fight for more. By taking 8.8 billion does not mean that we are leaving the balance of 5.2 billion. You are entitled to automatic annual increment as other public sector employees. Now, I think, engineer, I can now give members time to ask questions. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Just to clarify, because I had set this chat for 40 minutes, so let me break it down, save the video first, but it will be saving. I will start using the same number. I will start another meeting, and then
yes,
we now just go into question for another 40 minutes, and then we let everybody have a night of peace.
That would be very, very okay.
Yeah, so let me cut this call and start a fresh one. Then we start the questioning, as I'll be saving the other one.
Thank you very much.
But members, please, I've done the settings such that when you enter the chat room, you are in a muted mode. So don't unmute your mic and don't turn your video on. Some of you are having a very funny videos in the background. Please.
No, it is the first conference. They will improve as we move on.
If this thing, if I put it somewhere on YouTube, everybody will be seeing those things. All right, let me cut this call, then we start another one for questioning. So when you have a question, just raise your hand on the chat room, and then I will see you. We will allow you to ask the question so that we have someone.
Thank you very much.
1 minute.